What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. On this video, I want to focus on the fitness series with building more muscle and building muscle faster. People all the time are asking me how they can build more muscle, how they can keep muscle on, how they can increase the speed at which rate they're getting some more gains at. Some people are having trouble because they're in either sort of like a stagnant period where they've been training for a while and they got that big jump in the beginning with some results, or they're just complete new beginners. And this will even help people who've been training for a long time in the gym. I'll do multiple versions of this and multiple series and get more in detail with a lot more tips on it. But three of the basic ones that I want to start off with right now will serve you in your journey well. The first thing that has helped me and a lot of my clients and a lot of athletes I've trained increase the speed, the rate, the quality, and the quantity of muscle that they gain is using pre-exhaust and failure methods. Even though it's two separate things, I'm just going to put it together in one so you can understand how it works. So whatever muscle group that you're lagging on or trying to increase that size, that density, that quality, whether you are in the beginning, middle, or advanced stage, there's a certain point where you can't add more weight, significant more weight on that bar or on that machine. And also, you don't want to risk the long term, because we say all the time, fitness and this journey is a long-term thing. It's a marathon. It's not something we're doing for 3 months or 6 months for the most part, for most people. You want to be able to sustain good health and you don't want to kill your joints. So one way to be able to do that, and this is a way to stimulate muscle growth, because that's what gaining muscle is you create a stress, same as the calluses in your hand. You start going to the gym, you start grabbing bars all the time, you start grabbing cables, ropes, handles, and your body adapts to it. It builds a layer of hard callus skin to give you a better grip. It might be sore in the beginning, but then you just get used to it, and then it actually just goes away and kind of keeps one firm layer on there. And muscle is the same thing. You're creating stress to the tissue, you're breaking down that top layer, so that top layer gets ripped off, and then you give it rest, you give it nutrients, you give it hydration, and it rebuilds that layer and another small layer on top. And then the next time you train, you break off that new top layer and it rebuilds that one plus another one. And that's how you gain muscle. It's through stress. So what's an intelligent way that we can give more stress to the muscle to create that effect, that metabolic effect to that tissue to be able to grow and want to grow more without killing ourselves? One way is pre-exhaust. That means that you pre-exhaust that tissue before you go into the harder compound movements. If I were to do chest, I'll go into the gym and I will do a lot of sets of flies and make sure that I isolate that tissue completely before I get into the pressing movements, because that means that every single fiber to my capability is exhausted. And every time I'm pushing on that machine, that bar, that dumbbell, I'm using every single bit of it. When you go fresh onto movements, you're going to be using your whole body to push that weight. You see a lot of people in the gym pushing a lot of weight and they don't have the physique to match it. They're really, really strong and they're really, really good at moving weight and doing those certain exercises, but they don't have the aesthetic appeal. They haven't gotten the benefit of the physique to match it. And for the most part, 85–90% of the people going to the gym is to look and feel better. They're not really trying to hit personal bests and become a competitive, weightlifter or bodybuilder. You might set small goals along the way just to be able to keep you in tune with your training, keep you interested, but that's not the general overall agenda for most people that I deal with, or anybody who asks me how to gain more muscle. So by pre-exhausting the tissue, that means that when you get on that machine, that dumbbell, that bar, and you're pressing, that it's not going to be your delt, your tricep, your back that's helping you press that weight. Even if they are, all the fibers inside of your chest have been exhausted so much that they're going to be recruited a lot more. And same thing with legs, using various variations of lunges in high volume, leg extensions, hamstring curls. Just get a lot of blood in there, really, really exhaust them, and then go move on to your squatting movements, your hack squats, your leg presses, to be able to really make sure that every single fiber is executed. This is going to save your joints. It's going to give you more bang for your buck without you killing yourself and without you injuring yourself. Same thing goes on the back end. At the end of those exercises, at the end of those sets, go to failure. Pick 2 exercises in that day's routine for that muscle part you're trying to increase your maturity or the quantity of it. Get bigger lats, back, arms, chest, legs, whatever the case may be, and hit sets to failure. Now that you've recruited every single fiber, at the end of that, safely get your max set from 6 to 8 reps clean, as far as you can go. And when you can't press and you can't pull anymore halfway through that movement, safely release it and then take some plates off or lower the plates with the cable and continue to do more reps for 4, 5, 6 more reps until you hit the next failure. And depending on how advanced you are and your endurance and your strength capability and also mental capability, you can shoot for 1 more drop set. This will make sure that you have that overall stress from beginning to end for that muscle tissue, every single fiber to be recruited to cause that stress for your body to say, hey, this person's going to keep doing this to me and I want to grow more muscle. Now you have to match that with rest and nutrition and hydration to let it grow. You need the building blocks, not just the machines and the strategy and the map. So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 goes right off of that. Don't train muscles that are really sore. Some people find success in training different muscle groups twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week with lower volume. That means they don't do a lot of work to it, but they stimulate it. And this is an experimental thing with everybody. But in general, for everybody, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're natural or you're using drugs. If your legs or your back or your arms or your chest or your shoulders are shot and you're so sore and you hit them again and you're re-breaking that top layer that I spoke about, you will never grow more muscle. You have to, your muscle grows and your fat is burned when you're at rest. And that's why recovery is so important. I see people when they have a lagging body part and they'll ask me, in the beginning of the year, some tips on growing their arms or something. And I'll give them some tips. And I'll see them training Monday, chest and then do arms. And then I'll see them the next day do back and they'll do arms again. Maybe the next day they'll do legs or something like that. Now, the 4th day, again, they're doing arms by themselves. So they've hit them 3 times in 4 days, hoping that they're just going to force them to grow, and it's not going to happen. And a good example of this is some of the most elite, amazing athletes like boxers and MMA fighters. And when you see these guys in the ring, especially in UFC, under those lights, they're ripped, they're shredded. And then if you put the context of the weight class that they're in, 150 pounds, 155 pounds, 160 pounds, welterweights at 170, they weigh as much as an average girl, And when you see them wear their t-shirt at the conference, the press conference, or even in their Instagram videos at home, they just look like an average everyday dude. They're in great shape, phenomenal endurance, phenomenal cardio, but you wouldn't stop them and say, damn, man, you're jacked. How can I put on some muscle like you? Because they're continuously doing the same exercises every single day. Being big doesn't serve them. Being conditioned and having endurance. So they do hundreds of push-ups and pull-ups and jump squats every single day, and they have ripped, mature, lean tissue, just not a lot of it, because their body has no need with that stress or recovery or food intake to grow any muscle. So that's a perfect example, especially guys that want to have that bar body. They want to have the chest and the arms, and they're training it 2-3 times a week and getting nowhere, still wearing a small or medium t-shirt at best, because they're hitting that all the time. So just think about the fighters. They're doing push-ups and pull-ups and these exercises every single day, and they're not growing. They're staying in that weight class for a decade or even 15 years until they retire. Same thing goes for us that are outside of the gym. You have to make sure that your muscle is recovering for it to be able to grow. So don't go in the gym and keep hammering and hammering the same muscle group, and it's just always sore and always fatigued, and then you end up actually regressing in your training. The third and the last thing that I want to speak about on this video is timing your nutrition. Not everybody can eat perfect food schedules, okay? I do hundreds and hundreds of diets a year, and everybody's diet is different. And I try to the best, give them the most applicable, maintainable, perfect nutrition to their schedule. Zero, nobody has a copy-paste system of me. Anybody watching this, anybody who's worked with me knows I know every detail of when they wake up, when they eat, when they go to work, when their breaks are, when their family eats, what times their kid eats, what time they go to bed, what they crave for in the evening. And I try to fit the best program for them to stay maintainable, stay healthy, get the results, lose fat, build muscle, have a nutritious diet, have good digestive system, not tax their body. But no matter what, unless you're living the life of like a gym rat, a lot of the time your nutrition is going to be off by an hour or two. And there's going to be busy nights where you're dropping off your kids at practice and you've got different routines and you've got events and you've got weekends and social events where you're away from the kitchen, away from the fridge, even away from a restaurant. And it's not going to be perfect. So what you want to think about is just knock it down to the logic of the basics. Your nutritional timing, if you're trying to gain or hold on to as much lean muscle tissue as possible, is very important to be based around your training times. Meaning, and you can just change up the timings of this and change up the scenario, but use this analogy. If you or I work in an office from 9 till 5 every single day, and I have the choice to either train before work or after work for the most part, and I can only get in about 2 meals and a snack, or maybe 3 meals on a good day, just because I'm super busy. I got a high-level, C-level position. I've got kids. I've got a partner. I've got dogs. I've got a house. I've got errands. I've got calls. I've got international bullshit, or just have too much crap on my plate. All that shit that they tell you about it doesn't matter when you get your macros or when you get your calories is not true. Those studies are done on average nobodies in a retirement home with 20 people, and their body doesn't go through the stresses as an everyday person does that's trying to actually build some good muscle tissue. So if you're going to train in the morning time, if you're going to wake up and exercise in the morning time and put your body through a vigorous 35, 45, 55 minute back, legs, chest, Olympic lifting session, CrossFit session, conditioning session, whatever it is, it's important that you get your nutrition around that time. That means that even if you can't eat before it, you're getting a post-workout, easy absorbable shake or meal in you so that you can replenish those nutrients and you can send the macros needed for your muscles to be able to start replenishing, because your body does turn a switch on, kind of like a factory where it's trying to actually build muscle. That's what all those fake BCAAs are and all that out there, which don't work for you. But mTOR, it's a chemical reaction in your body where a switch turns on and your body's actually trying to recruit nutrients to rebuild tissue. That's how intelligent the body is, same as it does with the calluses I explained about. So you would want to have a post-workout meal or shake. You would want to make sure that a few hours after that, again, you had another solid meal, getting your protein, getting your good essential fats, getting some sustained carbohydrates to give you some more energy to go throughout that day and keep your blood sugar levels steady so that you're not gaining fat, you're not getting cravings, you're not throwing off your energy levels or your insulin. And then maybe another meal when you're done work or even in the afternoon. If you miss the evening meals for any case or any scenario because of dates, because of kids, because of appointments, because of meetings, calls, you're going to do way better in the long run getting those meals in the morning around your session rather than you just grab a coffee, go to work, have a banana at work, maybe order whatever it is late in the afternoon at lunch, or have something that doesn't serve you any nutritional value at all, a slice of pizza, 2 slices of pizza, and then wing it. And then when you come home for dinner, you're like, yeah, my wife or boyfriend or meal prep company made me something really good, really nutritious. Let me take a picture of it. It's going to serve me towards my gains and my goals. It's not. You're 8, 9, 10 hours into a catabolic effect of your body literally eating away at itself. It's looking for essential amino acids to rebuild that tissue. If you don't give it to them, it's going to pull it from another muscle. It's going to just eat away at itself, and it's very counterproductive. So switch that scenario around. If you're training after work in the late afternoon or evening time, you need to make sure that you're getting the right amount of nutrition around that window to serve you well. And in the morning time, if you're super busy and you can only get in something small here and there, that's all right. It's going to serve you better. If you can't be perfect, I'm saying, it's very important that you get your nutrition around that time. If two people had the same work schedule and the same training schedule and the same genetics, and both of them were training, let's just say after work, and one of them had a great meal at breakfast at 6:30 in the morning and a snack at 10 and a huge lunch at 1 o'clock. And then they were like, yeah, I'm just going to be in my intermittent fasted state because it's healthy and I'm getting lean and ripped and releasing toxins from my body. And then they went and smashed a good gym session at 5, 6, 7 o'clock with their friend, with their partner, by themselves, with their PT. And the other person kind of disregarded food in the morning time and just said, it slows me down. It takes time out of my office, my work, my calls, my routine. And I'm just going to nail it in the afternoon and then have a good pre-workout, easy digestible meal, a scoop of whey, a couple of rice cakes, train hard, have a really good dinner after. In 3 months, the person who's eating around the window of their training in the evening time is going to have more muscle tissue, less body fat, better cognitive ability, better hormonal function, better everything. Because when they're racing their car, they've got fuel in it. They've got micros, macros, nutrients, minerals in their car, same as you would on a racetrack. The person in the morning, unless they've got really, really good genetics, they're going to be exhausted because they're going on an empty tank to race their car, to push their body, and then leaving it empty until the next day. All those hours in the afternoon and evening and while they sleep, there's zero nutrition going back inside their body to be able to rebuild that tissue, and they're not going to get good results, okay? They're going to actually regress over time through catabolism. I hope the video can serve you guys some value, help you get your gains and your results a little bit quicker and making less mistakes. If you have any questions, you want to hit me up. All my information on my social media channels and my email is in the bio. Go ahead and shoot me a text or an email. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel to show some support. I'll see you guys next time. Stay true to yourselves, stay good to yourselves. Let nothing and nobody get in the way of the life that you want to live.